Hey everyone, Jim Broyles here, and I am so excited to have with me today my good friend and fellow health coach, Leann Forst. And she is going to be talking all about what to do if you are diagnosed with cancer. So, this is a brand new topic to my blog. I've never talked about this before, so I'm really excited to have Leann on. She is a family health and cancer coach. She's a board certified holistic health practitioner and essential oil coach, holding a master's degree from Drake University and a Bachelor of Science from Upper Iowa University. Leann is accredited by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners, and she's an award-winning author of 2 books, How to Get Your Kids to Beg for Veggies and 100 Ways to Lose Weight. Born and raised as an Iowa farm girl, she moved to Texas in 1998, where she lives with her husband and 2 kids. As a wife of a brain cancer survivor, Leann has a special interest in anti-cancer nutrition and detox. She works with individuals and groups and speaks regularly at hospitals, schools, and organizations to teach people how to attain optimal health by getting to the root cause of chronic and inflammatory conditions while using healing modalities such as nutrition, supplement protocols, and essential oils. Welcome, Leann.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. And for those of you that don't know, you probably wouldn't know, Leann and I went to the same nutrition school, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And we met, I guess, at a networking event shortly after both of us graduated from school, and just instantly connected and hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. So it's just such a pleasure to have you here with me.
Yes.
Yay.
Great to be here.
So like I said, we're gonna talk about what to do if you are diagnosed with cancer. So this is a pretty heavy topic. So I am gonna just kind of let you open up by sharing your story and your husband's story.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like to share my story only because I think it helps people to understand, that they can have some direction. And, my husband back in 2013, actually, I was going through nutrition school. I had started on my health journey years before that with, having a sick child and my own health issues, and just became a researcher and researching cancer and researching nutrition and different protocols. But then really found my passion and decided to go back to school, even though I had my master's, and go to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, become a holistic health coach. And when I graduated, literally 3 weeks after I graduated, I got my first client, and it was my husband, diagnosed with brain cancer. And at the beginning, the tumor was quite large. It was the size of an apricot. And so think about that. I mean, it's like, this big. So it was blocking his spinal fluid, it was threatening his life. And long story short, he went through 4 brain surgeries. He did do gamma knife and cyber knife radiation, both of those. So it was a good 9-month journey. But at the end of that journey, I recall being in the room with the doctor, the radiologist with oncology, and he said that there was still some of the tumor left that they couldn't get to because it was on a blood vessel. And the size of that tumor was probably the size of a quarter or maybe a golf ball, somewhere in there. And they couldn't get to it. But it was what he said next that truly changed our lives. And I knew what I thought I knew. But for me to hear it from a cancer doctor was amazing and really life-changing. He said to us that day, he said, good nutrition and clean living can really go a long way to boosting your immunity and disintegrating the rest of that tumor. And it still gives me chills to say it,
Yeah, but gosh,
because I had other family members diagnosed with cancer, and I've been in a lot of meetings with a lot of cancer doctors because of those issues or those situations, and I'd never heard one say that. And come to find out that this particular cancer doctor's wife is a holistic practitioner. So he had a different perspective, and it really helped to set our path on what we would do for my husband. And I could have talked till I was blue in the face on what he should do, but for him to hear it from a doctor, I think helped him solidify, and he was ready to make changes. And so, that was pretty much the beginning of our journey. And we went through a whole bunch of different protocols with, using nutrition, supplements, testing, a lot of testing, holistic testing and conventional. to really get to the root cause. Because what I don't think a lot of people realize is that cancer is just not bad luck, right? 95% of the time, there's something that got you there. And even the American Cancer Society's webpage says that only 5% of cancers are truly genetic. The other 95% are epigenetic. And people haven't heard that term a lot, that I find. And epigenetics are really a new area of science where we have now determined that 95% of diseases and chronic health conditions are caused by diet, lifestyle, and environment. And that's good news, because that means that 95% of health conditions can be potentially reversed through diet, lifestyle, and environmental changes.
Wow. That is so powerful. It is. Like, we may think of that as like bad news, but it's good news because it empowers us. Like, that's something that we can change, we can control, we can, prevent, right?
Yes. And so, and he did make a ton of changes. A lot of changes, and really his willpower is amazing. And so this all happened. He was diagnosed in December of 2013. We got that information from the doctor probably July of 2014. And after going through a lot of changes with his nutrition and detox and testing and supplements and things like that, essential oils, his MRI in September of 2015 showed that the tumor had truly disintegrated.
Wow. Gosh.
And so a lot of people don't realize that that's possible, and it's possible. It's really powerful to know that that's possible. Now, he's had ups and downs with his health since, and so he continues to fight. But just to have that information is really, that supports him.
Yeah.
To know that it's possible.
That is amazing. And so, I love how you said that, cancer is not just bad luck. There's usually a reason it happened, and only 5% of cancer cases are genetic. So what is cancer? When you say it's like a result of our environment or our diet, like, what is it about the environment and our diet and all of that is contributing to cancer?
Right. And so they discovered what causes cancer, or what the difference is in a healthy cell and a cancer cell back in the 40s. And the difference between a healthy cell and a cancer cell is that a healthy cell uses oxygen. It lives on oxygen, right? That's how it respirates. Exactly opposite for a cancer cell. A cancer cell thrives in a non-oxygenated environment. And so you really have to look at those things that convert from an oxygenated environment to a non-oxygenated environment. Well, chemicals, for one. There are many things in our environment that cause this disruption in our DNA. And there are over 100,000 chemicals that are in use today, and 80,000 of them have not been proven as safe for human health. And chemicals disrupt the respiration of a healthy cell and can convert it into a cancer cell. So that's just the beginning.
Gosh, that's amazing. Kind of scary.
Amazing. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you kind of talked a little bit about epigenetics, which I think is fascinating. So, in terms of, once someone gets diagnosed with cancer and gets that unfortunate news, are there specific holistic tests that you recommend?
Yeah, there are. And you have to start somewhere, because I like to test and not guess, right? Okay. You could put together a plan for somebody, but you're really just guessing. And this is where bioindividuality comes into play, is you have to find out the root cause. I based the name of my website, groovybeets.com, beets like the beet that you eat, the root cause. It's like a root vegetable. So you have to get to the root cause of how did you get here? If you weren't born with the cancer and you acquired the cancer, then you acquired this toxicity. Also, silent infections play a role. Different infections, bacterial infections or viral infections or fungal infections or parasitic infections. Heavy metals could play a role for toxicity. Heavy metals are in our environment, in the pesticides, in our air, in our teeth. Sometimes when we get the dental fillings, the silver fillings that we have. So you really have to test. Some of the tests that I recommend and provide are, I have different relationships with different labs. BioHealth has a great one that tests for, I like it because it tests for 3 things all at once. It's a stool test that tests for fungal bacterial and parasitic infections.
Yep.
So all of those kinds of infections can disrupt the respiration of a healthy cell, right? And you don't want that. And they can lead to chronic inflammation. And inflammation is the cornerstone for 95% of diseases. And so I like that test. I also like a test from Direct Labs that is a heavy metal test, and it tests for all different kinds of heavy metals, and it's a urine test. I do like also testing for food sensitivities, because undiagnosed food sensitivities can cause inflammation. Mm-hmm. And anything that's causing inflammation is going to disrupt your immune system. And so I really want to uncover those things. Then I also like to test for micronutrient deficiencies, because if you have an undiagnosed micronutrient deficiency, the nutrient deficiencies are linked to over 30 different diseases. And so you really have to uncover that and correct all of that. So getting to the root cause is what it's all about, and test so you don't guess. So those would just be a handful of the tests that I would start with.
That's amazing. I think all of those, are so important. You're addressing so many critical components. So I love that. So what are the main protocols that you use in your private practice with your cancer patients to really help them out in terms of nutrition, detox, supplements, essential oils?
Yeah. So I always recommend doing the testing first and then starting with our first session. And I do start with nutrition first, because I feel that, if you go through all these other protocols, and if you're still, drinking Coca-Cola and eating Cheetos, you're not going to get better, right? You're going to be fighting yourself. And so you really do need to start with food and get that straight. And everybody's different as to what diet protocol they should be on. There's no one protocol that's one size fits all. Some people should be maybe on a vegetarian diet. Some people should be on a keto diet, or maybe a mix of the two. Pescatarian diet. My husband has rotated his, actually, because it just depends on where you're at. What kind of cancer do you have? What kind of food sensitivities you have? What kind of micronutrient deficiencies you have? So there's a lot that goes into developing a custom nutrition protocol, but it's got to come first so that you can get that straight. And it usually takes a while for people to grasp, because it's hard to make changes when you are used to eating crap food all the time.
Right.
The food that got you here, right?
Right.
And to make those changes, it usually takes a while to make little swaps, adds and drops to really get to that right, to understand what it should be. But also knowing that, things about pesticides and herbicides and genetically modified foods. The disease rates, all of our disease rates have gone up since 1996. And that year is a big, change in our health. Our food supply is just not as good as it used to be when our grandparents were growing up, because of the introduction of GMOs. Yeah. And I've lectured on GMOs at Medical City Hospital in Dallas, and how it's now our kids' generation is growing up on genetically modified food. And now you're seeing this huge increase of asthma, allergies, ADHD, autism, and it's all connected. And so food is important. And then I go from food to supplements, because supplements is just that another tool, another layer. Supplements can be very powerful. Supplements can help fill in those nutritional gaps. Supplements can help to detox the body and eradicate these infections, eradicate some toxicities. Detox can boost immunity. Detox can boost up your antioxidant capacity in order to protect your DNA and to fight free radicals. So supplements are important. A targeted supplement protocol, depending on your situation and your goals. And then I also incorporate detoxification strategies. And that word is difficult, because a lot of people think of detox in a lot of different ways, and there really is 100 different ways to detox. And so you could do everything from supplements for detox to a detox bath to doing an infrared sauna, which are all great, but it really depends on the person, the budget, the time constraints, all of those things. And so I try to meet the person where they're at and what they're able to do, both with their specific health condition, situation, and financial budget. And then the last one is essential oils. So I do incorporate essential oils. Essential oils are basically God's medicine. They're plant-based and medicinal. And I incorporate essential oils because they are so small molecularly that they can penetrate the cell membrane to address the infection, if there's a silent infection, at its core. Getting to the root cause is what essential oils do. So I do incorporate essential oils and create a comprehensive essential oil protocol for my clients.
That's awesome. You shared so much good information in that. Like, I want to go back to some of this and ask a couple questions. So, first of all, I love that you mentioned that there's no one diet, right? It depends on the person and what it is that they need. There's a lot of different healthy dietary options out there for cancer patients. However, are there specific foods that should or should not be eaten in all of these protocols?
Yeah, well, I mentioned you got to start eating clean. You know, every good health protocol, no matter what the health condition is, whether it's cancer or digestive issues or asthma, allergies, ADHD, you got to start with good, clean food. So again, eating as organic as possible as your budget will allow, not eating the GMOs and the pesticides and the herbicides. People don't realize that the amount of pesticides and herbicides have increased tenfold in the last 15 years that's being dumped onto our produce. That's why this generation of kids is at the biggest risk. And those kind of toxins poke holes in our gut, leading to leaky gut, and leaky gut is the foundation for a lot of different diseases, including cancer. So you got to start with clean food. You got to eat as organic as possible. I do recommend cutting out cow's milk products, dairy. When I say dairy, some people don't understand what exactly dairy is. They think eggs or they think coconut milk because it has. I know. But I specifically recommend cutting out cow's milk products, cheese and yogurts that are cow's milk based because, and this is coming from an Iowa farm girl, that had cows, but cows are really one of the most polluted food sources on this planet. They eat genetically modified corn that's sprayed with the pesticides and herbicides. That goes into their body, into their bloodstream, becomes the meat, becomes the dairy that we're consuming. We're eating the whole food chain when we eat cow products, when we eat red meat, cow meat, and cow milk products. And so not only that, and then people say, oh, what about organic milk or organic cow's milk or organic red meat? Well, the problem with milk is that it causes mucus in the body. And if you think of mucus, it's kind of like thinking of green scum on the top of a stagnant pond. It's a place for bacteria to grow. And bacteria in the body is not a good thing. A bad bacteria like that is a place for things to grow. And so you don't want to fight yourself. And so why not cut out something that's just inhibiting your ability to heal? And cow's milk products are one of those things. And not to mention that, especially linked to hormonal cancers like prostate cancer and breast cancers, because those cows are milked 300 days out of the year on average, and they're pregnant most of the time. And those pregnancy hormones are going into the milk. So whether you're eating or drinking organic milk or not, those pregnancy hormones are in the milk. And so if for ovarian, breast, and prostate cancers, you definitely want to steer away from the milk products, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is that I recommend people stay away from sugar. Sugar is probably, I should have backed up and put that as number one, because sugar actually makes cancer grow. Cancer feeds on sugar. So when you go to get a scan, and they want to see if you have any tumors in your body, the contrast, what they inject you with is glucose. Glucose is a sugar, and it lights up on the scan because the cancer eats it. Cancer loves sugar. People don't realize you're feeding the cancer with those. And so you want to eliminate refined sugar, all of it. Not even a little bit is okay when you're dealing with cancer and you're trying to heal from cancer. And cow's milk, of course, the lactose in cow's milk is sugar. People don't realize. I think it was my mom who said, I told her, she's like, I don't know why I'm so addicted to milk. I said, I do, because it has sugar in it. She's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have sugar in it. It doesn't say sugar on the label. Well, it's not going to say sugar on the label. It's the lactose is a sugar.
Right.
And so people don't realize that.
So misleading.
So,
I know.
Yeah.
Wow. Those are some really, really good points. So that's awesome. So cow's milk, just dairy products in general, and sugar for sure, since it feeds cancer. So what about specific supplements? You know, you mentioned a supplement protocol, and I'm sure you customize it per individual, but are there specific supplements that are generally recommended for all of your patients?
Yeah, and so I do like to test, so I don't guess, but there are some that are in general you have to support the body in its healing and its in it and the immune system. And so I always like to recommend everybody needs to start with a whole food multivitamin and multimineral. And you know, backing up a second, all your supplements need to be clean, just like your food. You know, supplements that are going to go into your body, you have to start with clean supplements. They can't have artificial anything in them. You know, no gluten, no soy, no dairy, and they have to be clean and based with whole food so that your body will recognize it. And then they have to be therapeutic so that they will actually make change with your body. They will heal your body, right? And they will affect your body in a positive way. So a whole food, multivitamin, and multimineral. And I say that because most vitamins on the store shelf at the big box stores or what have you are vitamins with maybe a little bit of minerals. But minerals, what people don't realize, minerals are what most people are deficient in. 95% of Americans are deficient in minerals, and minerals are actually, they oxygenate your blood. So do you see the connection? You have to have minerals to keep your blood oxygenated. And you can get minerals from plants, eating plants and dark leafy greens, you know, have things like magnesium and potassium, but most people don't eat enough dark leafy greens and vegetables. And so you have to supplement, and minerals are important. For instance, magnesium is responsible for 300 different metabolic reactions in the body, and every single organ in your body depends on magnesium to operate at its optimal level. And so that's just one example why minerals are important. And then I also recommend a comprehensive omega supplement that includes omega-3, 6, and 9. Everybody knows about fish oil, but it needs to be more comprehensive than just the store-bought fish oil. And you need to make sure it's clean because a lot of fish oil has mercury in it. You know, the fish come from the oceans that are polluted. And again, it's the food chain that we're eating. So you want one that has plant-based and marine-based omegas in it. And then the third thing I always like to start with is a good comprehensive antioxidant blend to fight free radicals and decrease oxidative stress. So that's where I start. And then, of course, based on testing, we also implement detox supplements or supplements that address the infections or toxicities.
Nice. That's awesome. And so I know people always want to know brands. So do you have a go-to brand, one that you like really rely on and trust?
Yeah, I do. And I'm a brand snob, like I'm a supplement snob. And if you looked at my pantry, there's, you know, supplements, as many supplements as there is, you know, food, as much food, but I've tried a lot, like hundreds of supplements. And being a health coach, you know, I got the opportunity to try them. People are always reaching out to me with their supplements. Might try this, try that. And I've been doing this for, you know, a long time. And so I love doTERRA. Number one, I love the products because they are clean, they're therapeutic, they're whole food based. But I also love the company because it's a good Christian company that has ethics, they're transparent, their sourcing is the way it should be. And you can trace, you can look at the products and you can research them and you can know and trust that you're getting good products that are going to help your health.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally agree. No, I think that's awesome. So yes, I'm with you. Everyone needs a whole food multivitamin and mineral, a good quality omega-3 complex, antioxidant complex. I mean, so important just for setting a good foundation. So I think it's great that that's, you know, one of, you know, where you start in terms of supplements and then you test for the rest. And then you mentioned that you use essential oils and specific essential oil protocols to help support your clients as well. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Like, you know, what do you recommend? Do you have specific essential oil blends and protocols that your husband uses and that you use with your clients? I'd love to learn a little more about that.
Yeah, yeah. And so there are a lot of different essential oils on the market as well. And you can probably walk into the local grocery store and get one off the shelf, except for I would not recommend that if you're, unless you just want to make your house smell good and you want something inexpensive. But if you want something truly like potent and pure, you have to, again, just like your supplements, you have to make sure that the sourcing is indigenous sourcing. So you have to get the essential oils. Essential oils are plant-based compounds, so the oils that come from plants. And so you have to make sure that the oils come from plants where the plants grow naturally. Um, so that's just laying the groundwork there. But specific essential oils that I like for their cancer fighting abilities are the number one, of course, is frankincense. Everybody's heard of frankincense in the story of the Christ child and how valuable that oil was deemed back then, 3,000 years ago. It is still very valuable oil today because of its studies that have shown that it has immune enhancing abilities for cellular health. So that would be, it's called the king of oils for a reason. So that would be one that I would incorporate right away. Clove is also another one. It's known for its antifungal, antioxidant, antibacterial, anti-tumoral properties. And so that was huge. It's actually been found that clove has one of the highest antioxidant scores of any plant on earth. So I thought that was pretty amazing. But it also has been studied to be a natural cancer fighter. Lemongrass is known to have key nutrient compounds that present powerful antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. And remember, the key to fighting cancer is to fight the root cause. And some of the root causes are those bacteria, fungal infections, parasitic infections, and toxicities, right? So if you're fighting the root cause, cancer has 100 different names, but really it's one disease. There's not 100 different diseases. There's one, and it's fighting that inflammation and getting to the root cause. And that would be the goal for most health protocols. Lavender supports a healthy function of your immune system. Myrrh, initial research has found that myrrh inhibits growth of different types of cancer cells, specific gynecological cancers. Yep, sandalwood is another one that's really powerful, and it's been studied for its properties that kill off cancer cells. So that's huge.
That is huge.
Helichrysum was one that a lot of people haven't heard of, and they sometimes can't pronounce. But it has been studied for its effectiveness at protecting against DNA damage and cell mutation and death and cancerous tumor growth. And then one that a lot of people don't know about, and one of my favorites you have to have in your medicine cabinet, is Melissa oil. It's right up there with frankincense with how powerful it is. It's been this is huge, that it's been clinically shown to help with brain tumors like glioblastoma.
Wow.
And so I think that is amazing, just that God's medicine can help in so many ways.
Yeah, that's powerful. And there's so many oils, it's not just one oil. There's so many, and you can make blends. And I believe too that you even have a blog post on this. So I'll make sure to include it.
Yeah, I do. Video. I do have a blog post, and I created specific blends based on the properties of the oils. And, some oils are energetic and some of them are calming, and you don't want to take an energetic oil when you're about ready to go to bed. And
right.
So a lot of information and education went into making those blends.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I personally love so many of these oils, I use them regularly already. So they're just such great oils. So with so many amazing properties. So that is really cool. And yeah, you can't deny the research. The research is there showing how they support the body and support and promote healthy cells. And so that's fantastic. I love the approach you take to helping your clients, and, in terms of just a very comprehensive approach that includes nutrition, detox supplements, essential oils. Is there anything else that you want to share that is just a key factor that needs to be addressed when it comes to healing?
Well, I think that it's important to know that a cancer diagnosis doesn't define you. It's not a death sentence. And I think that's huge. I think people get into this dark cave or black hole when they get this cancer diagnosis, and just know that you have a lot of power over your own health. And if you just half the battle is getting your mind right.
Mm.
Get your mind right, get in the game, take control of your health. You got to get not just one doctor, you got to get a team, both on the conventional side, but also on the holistic, alternative, or functional side of the coin here, because really your health, you're the one in charge. It's you that needs to put together this team and then take that information and take control of your health. And so I encourage people to take back their power over their health and to get busy and continue to educate themselves on some of the things that they can do to help themselves.
Awesome. Great, great advice. And so, Leann, where can people find you if they just want to read your blog or get in touch with you? Where can they go?
So my blog is the best place to get in touch with me. You could contact me through my blog, and it is groovybeets.com, and that's groovy, and then beets like the beet that you eat, and Beets. Everybody wants to spell it Beats, but it's beets like the beet that you eat. And on there, on the top menu, you'll see there are a lot of free resources that I offer that you could get, a lot of different guides. Then one that's probably my most popular freebie is 37 cancer facts that you should know, but you probably don't.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, that sounds like a very popular one. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, Leann, for taking your time to join us today. I know everyone is just going to get so much value out of this. I learned so much in our short time talking. So I really, really appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.